I think that, and I try to not just take a peek at it just from a cultural perspective, but also particularly from a gender role perspective and those expectations. Because I agree, I've found doing my sort of anecdotal research, talking to people from all parts of the world, truly, and learning that a lot of them that identify as men have had very similar experiences, not only in their growing up with their mothers and fathers, but the behaviors that you just described. That like you said, grief, right? That would be probably the easiest thing that one would imagine would be appropriate to express that level of sorrow. And yet
Hmm.
we would still say, no, you need to be tough. You need to be strong for your family, be strong for yourself, be strong for others. And again, sort of immediately invalidating that experience. Like you're not allowed to then be sad, to be upset, to maybe even be angry, depending on the circumstances of what happened. And I certainly have had to go through that myself because I've had my fair experience of loss throughout my life and trying to help other people also when they're going through it, even before I was practicing as a therapist. And I've noticed that be a challenge, particularly for men, and because of the reasons that you described. It's just generally seen as not part of masculine energy or masculine traits or masculine expectations, however you want to phrase that. It's not things that men typically do or behave in. So then what do we do as the what's the contrary aspect of that? Well, in my experience, that's when, especially when you get young men, we express ourselves in probably the most primitive way you can, which is physically. Maybe we punch things, break things, scream, argue, fight, so on. And those are things that we don't like in the big picture. We don't like that men do that, but then we also are still creating and maintaining the conditions that keep us still behaving that way. You know what I mean? So it's sort of a catch 22. It's like, well, we want you guys to evolve, but then at the same time, we're not going to change some of these attitudes, maybe, or general dispositions, if you will, that make you want to force yourself to actually do something about it. And so that to me is another reason why, like, we're talking. That's the reason why I wanted two men talking to say, not just because we're providers, but we're still men, that it is okay. It is appropriate to express yourself, but more importantly, to feel your feelings. Sometimes you're going to be feeling great. Sometimes you're going to feel pretty low. And we all have those waves that we ride at times. And it's totally healthy. But what we don't want to do is minimize or suppress or put it to the side because we're really only kicking the can down the road. And you better believe those things are going to come up later, the longer that we go without dealing with it. So I think it was very, very poignant what you said, because I think that a lot of us need to not only hear it, but also maybe at times be reminded of it, because we might, sort of detach at times or feel that, it's more about somebody else's pain or their struggle. So let me not make it about me. But I would argue, no, I think we always need to make that time and budget that time really to have those experiences and make sure that we're processing those things as close to when they're happening as possible so that we don't allow those things to build up and, like you said, sort of erupt at random times like a volcano.